We are live. It is another episode of LDtvTalk, and this beautiful, lovely, uber positive person next to me is Kate Burkett. And Kate and I met several years ago at a mastermind in Los Angeles for a coaching program we were doing. And those of you who watched my interview with Desiree Marie Lito, we were at that same mastermind. So there weren't a lot of us, but it was truly special. And we walked out of there with some great relationships. And Kate has a great story to tell. She is, as I said, uber positive. I'm going to read you her bio so you can get an idea of what she does. But then I'm going to turn it over to her, and she's going to talk about the fact that even though she's uber positive, she had a challenge to get where she is. And that's why she can help people take them from maybe a low place to that uber positivity that she exudes. So here's her bio. Kate, the world-traveling inner beauty expert and founder of Kate in Paradise, supports spiritual women in stepping into their body magic so they can heal the planet. So that is pretty profound. In her programs, meditations, and trainings, she guides women to follow their soul purpose so that they can manifest healing, success, and fulfillment, inspiring women to return to their body and their truth while cultivating a lifestyle of freedom, vitality, and fun. Kate has taught women to overcome their fears of failure and self-doubt so they can live a life of purpose. She helps her clients find clarity and confidence so they can start sharing their message and making a difference right now. Kate's free spirit, enthusiasm, and desire to see her clients succeed empowers them to find a meaningful freedom-based life. She assists women just like you in finding their paradise. So, Kate, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can start by sharing that even though you live a life in paradise now, it might not have always been that way. Tell us about that.
Well, I think my sort of journey started when my dad was diagnosed with brain cancer. And I really believed in my heart that he could heal naturally and that there were, other ways besides the conventional, surgery and chemotherapy and radiation, all that stuff. And so that is really where kind of my self-healing journey began, because I loved my dad so dearly, and it was horrible to see him suffering and his health getting worse, but also his quality of life getting worse. And so that really kind of embarked me on this journey of doing cleanses and detoxes and learning about herbs and food and mindset and all of these things. My dad was sick for years. And so for 12 years, he battled brain cancer.
Oh my God. Was he into alternative therapy?
He kind of had a little stint of doing it, and he was having success, and then he didn't stick with it. But kind of, what I realized was you can't heal other people. Self-healing is possible, but it has to be something that individual wants.
Yeah.
But it really got the wheels turning for me as far as, and I started, still to this day, I'm constantly researching different cancer therapies because it's just so interesting to me. But that kind of started my whole journey. I found yoga. I became a health coach because that was really the inspiration initially. You know what I mean? I really wanted to understand how to heal yourself, really, is truly what it is. I was fascinated by this idea and this concept, and I knew it was true, but there's so much information out there. How do you sift through it all?
Right.
How do you know what to choose and which ones are kind of like just kind of smoke in the air, and which ones are actually based in science. And like, there's just so much information out there. It's so overwhelming. So I just kind of embarked on this journey. So he was diagnosed when I was 18. So it was just basically my entire adult life. I've been fascinated by this. And so I was always learning, and I was always passionate about helping people, heal their bodies and eat healthy and, cleanse, so they are like, so their system isn't weighed down by all the toxins that are in our environment. And there's just so much that we're bombarded with. No wonder our bodies are breaking down. We don't have energy. We don't feel good. All these things I was so passionate about. But things really kind of took a turn for me in 2017. I had a really bad accident. I broke my foot and I had a pretty bad concussion. And it was obviously got knocked off my feet, literally. So obviously, like, it was hard. I'm an incredibly active person, along with all the, nutrition and herbs and all of these things. I was always very active. I always practiced yoga. I practice acrobatic yoga, acro yoga, for those of you who've seen that on Instagram.
I just see your pictures all the time doing this. First of all, you were in an amazing place, wherever it was. You were in Hawaii or whatever, or on the beach in California, and you were doing this acrobatic yoga, and then I didn't see it anymore. So obviously,
yeah, I kind of disappeared because I was like, I'd launched my health coaching business. I was like Kate in Paradise. I lived in Hawaii for 8 years, so there's a lot of photos from Hawaii. I go to Hawaii all the time. I love Hawaii. It's my heart. But yeah, so I was kind of like, on my journey, like how I was already helping women. I was feeling great. And then this accident happened. Whew. And it's interesting how the universe needed to get my attention, because there were actually a lot of things in my life that were not in alignment. I was kind of like going through the motions, but there were so many things in my life that weren't really fulfilling and weren't making me happy. But I was just like, it's fine. We do that as women, and we kind of change, we kind of alter what we like really want to do based on the people around us. We're like, oh, I'm just going to kind of conform and make it easy for them. And I don't want to rock the boat and, all of this stuff. So we're constantly compromising our values and what's truly in our heart, what we really want to be doing, because of the people around us, which it's great to serve and help the people around you. I mean, trust me, like, I'm the biggest, lover, and I love supporting my family and my friends. But it was crazy because I realized, as I'm sitting on the couch, unable to walk, unable to do yoga, acro yoga, anything, like I could do a little bit of like yoga, like stretching. Like I couldn't do anything really. I was very debilitated. I really realized, wow, there's so many things in my life that are not congruent with my messaging, with what I believe, with, my purpose. And this is like what I'm passionate about, and like what I'm, working with my clients around. And here's me just kind of, with the blinders on, not really owning what is truly going to heal my body and make me feel better and all this stuff. And so long story short, I ended up having a traumatic brain injury, which there's not a lot of information out there about. I mean, it's kind of just like, oh, it takes the status quo is it takes a long time to heal. And it takes women, it actually takes us longer to heal from traumatic brain injuries than men. And there's tons of side effects. They can be digestive. They can be, a lot of it is mental health. So it kind of like sneaks in and you don't really notice. You're kind of like, it's just subtle little things that you're kind of just like, maybe I'm just going crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a definite, like, here's the symptom. It's kind of it's vague. And there's tons of symptoms that can come from these traumatic brain injuries. And so I was just in this state of total anxiety. Like every morning I would just be freaked out by just like my regular schedule. Like, how am I going to get it all done in the day? Like everything just became incredibly overwhelming for me. And I was feeling incredibly depressed because I wasn't feeling capable. I wasn't very active. I was just still healing my foot. All this stuff was going on. And I was just like, I literally would wake up some mornings and I wouldn't have even got out of bed and I would just be bawling. I'm like, nothing's even happened yet.
Like you.
Oh, it was horrible. It was so bad. That's exactly what I felt. I was like, this is not me. So I started going to different doctors, and obviously I'm always into like natural health. So I was going to, my naturopath, getting all my blood work done. Like, what is it? What's going on? So going and seeing a therapist, a psychiatrist, like all these people, and a lot of the people and specialists, a lot of people that I went to see, they wanted to put me on antidepressants. I was even prescribed antidepressants. Okay. Another thing I was having issues with was my sleep, which happens a lot, with all kinds of, too much stress in your life, depression, all kinds of things. Sure. Can lead to not getting a lot of sleep. Anxiety usually 100% leads to not getting a lot of sleep. So I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. And so they're like, oh, even just this light dose of antidepressants can help you sleep, all this stuff. But I was like, no, I'm not going to put a Band-Aid over these symptoms. I'm going to get to the root of the problem, because I believe in self-healing. Underneath all of the anxiety and everything that was going on mentally and emotionally, I was like, in the core of who I am, I have a message here. I'm here to help women. I'm here to heal the planet. I'm here to help each individual heal themselves. And I can't be trapped in this place of overwhelm and anxiety and depression. Like, I have to figure this out, even though it's like, just getting out of bed was like a mission. And then I just felt so overwhelmed. And how am I going to pay for this? Just all of the sure. things.
All the negative things that bubble up when you're going through that. All those voices that really aren't yours. You've got to drown out that noise. And it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, you got to drown out the noise. It is not easy, but it can be done. So
it was like a downward spiral. Once one kind of negative thought came in, then another one, and then another one. And then it was just like this roller coaster down. I would just be like, by noon, I was like, my day's over. Like, I can't do it. It was just terrible. And, people that were close to me were just like, wow, you can't stop crying. I was like, no, I can't.
Oh my God.
It's really bad. So, I was like, no, there is another way. There is a way through this. I don't need to avoid it. I'm just going to go through. And so the person who I am, who's like all about learning, like, I was just reading books. I was reaching out to, like I said, different specialists, different doctors, alternative therapies. I got a brain scan. Eventually, I did a Kickstarter because I couldn't afford all the medical bills. I literally did a Kickstarter, a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So, like, to reach out to people, like, can you help me? Because there was this certain brain scan I wanted to get to kind of find out. I got it down. I was like, I feel like this is related to my head injury.
Oh, sure.
Can I, but how do I figure out how to heal it? Because everyone's like, it's just going to take time. And I was like, no, I believe in quantum healing.
Right.
It happen fast.
Totally.
I was like, this is going to happen fast. And I have to get to the bottom of this now. Like, I don't have time. I was like, I have important work to, I remember saying to myself, like, I have important work to do. Like, I don't have time to be, I love that book. I love that book so much. Highly recommend that book.
I show it on the show all the time.
That is such a good book. I have that book on audio. I have listened to it 3 times.
Yeah.
I've read it. I love it. I think it's incredible. So yeah, I was like, I'm not going to be like trapped in like this. It's going to take a long time. And literally everyone was telling me that I was doing homeopathy. I was getting cranial sacral work done. At one point I was taking 22 supplements a day because I was like, whatever it takes to get the inflammation in my brain down, give myself the nutritional boost that I need to heal. But the thing that really was the turning point for me was making that commitment and doing the work like in that book, saying, I am the source. There's a bunch of great information out there, and I'm going to continue to allow myself to be supported by the people that I have been drawn to work with, like in the medical field. And, coaches and whatever other, my therapist, whatever else I need. It's not like I'm gonna like shut everyone out and be like, I can do this by myself, but to really turn back to myself and trust myself again. Because what had happened during this whole process is I had completely lost faith in my ability to heal myself. I felt like a fraud. I was like, here I am telling people I'm a health coach and a healer for the last, 3 or 4 years. And yet when I get knocked off, look at me, I'm crying in my bed. I'm a total fraud. I had this imposter syndrome thing. Like, I guess I don't have any answers, like it was crazy how that meant, that mental, the depression really that sunk in just really pulled me down, where I did not trust myself. And so that was really the turning point for me. Was, I was doing all the therapies, I was working hard, doing everything I could, but it was really just returning to myself, getting back into my meditations, trusting that the answers were going to come, whether the answer was, go and get another one of these therapies, or the answer was just like, actually you don't need to take all these supplements. Because one day I was like, you know what? I'm taking all these freaking supplements. I'm going to try to cut back and see what happens. I was like, I can do this. Like, I don't need to like have these things be a crutch for the rest of my life, even, and so I just started like weaning off different ones, seeing how I felt. And there is one supplement that I still take, and it really helps. So I was having really bad headaches, helps with my headaches. But besides that, I don't take any of the other supplements. I don't do anything now. And I'm just like 100% better, because I really, it was like literally like, it was crazy, Lynn. It was like literally like a weekend. I remember it specifically because I went to my naturopath and I was just feeling so like shook up. And I was like, I've been doing all these things, like literally it's like a part-time job, all the stuff I'm doing.
Absolutely.
To heal myself. I was in debt. I was like, so like, just, it was like my whole life was like, I have to heal myself. And, I said, I just want it to happen fast. I just want to be done. I just want to feel good. And she was like, you're doing a really good job, but this stuff just takes a really long time. And then literally then that weekend, I signed up to work with a coach, because in her message, she was like, you can do it fast. And I was like, that's what I need. I was like, I don't need these people telling me that it's going to take forever, right? That I have to do all this stuff. I need someone that's like, it can happen fast, and you are the source of your transformation. It's not going to come from outside of you. It's going to come from you and your mental and emotional state. And she was talking about, healing yourself with your emotional state. And I was like, yes, that has been my downfall. I have been, letting my emotions control, and I've been creating this really toxic environment inside my body that isn't a great place for healing. It's full of self-judgment. It's full of worry and stress and anxiety, and how long is this going to take, and what do I need to do, and like, who do I need to talk to, and what therapy, and I can't afford that therapy. How am I going to heal? All this is like a cycle. I had been putting all the energy out there and giving my energy away to all these other people. And her message was really like, we need to bring your energy back into yourself, because you are more powerful than you're infinite being. And I was like, that is what I believe. Why have I been listening to these other people? But a lot of times you need that person to take your hand and lead you back to yourself.
Totally. I was going to say that. One of the things, the book, guys, for those of you who are watching, the book that I held up for Kate is a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And this is a man who had a terrible accident, and they told him he would never walk again. And in 10 weeks, he healed himself and he was walking again. So,
yes.
So the idea is, though, if he didn't, it's a horrible thing, but if he didn't have that accident, millions of people would not be aware of the fact that there is a way to really heal the body. So your journey, as horrible as it is, facilitates the health of other women, the health of people and you never would have been able to meet that particular coach that you did had the circumstances be a little different. So
totally. Yeah, like I said, like the universe was like, Kate's not listening. She's not embodying this message that she believes in. We're going to knock her off her feet. But it was crazy because as soon as I said yes, and I signed up for that coach, I went and I had an appointment with my naturopath the next week. And I was like, I'm better. She's like, what? I'm like, honestly, like, I don't have this symptom. 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 I'm like, I'm still having a little bit of headaches. I'm like, besides that, I literally feel like 85% better. She's like, she didn't understand. She was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, I just decided that I'm healing myself. And she was like, great, good job.
Well, that's right. Did you do this coach that you were working with? Did she have you do different meditations than what you were doing? Or was it basically the trust that you had in her based on her?
I think it was more than anything, just her vibration, her belief that you are like an infinite spiritual soul that is capable of creating anything. That literally is it. Like, she didn't actually give me any specific tools. She didn't really she's not even into like healing necessarily, but I just heard her message, and I could just tell she was so convicted and she was embodying it.
Right.
Because a lot of people was like walking the walk, and I could tell. And so
yeah,
I was just like, I just need someone in my life that believes this and that believes in me and like believes that this is possible, because at the time, I hadn't done anything in my business. I think I'd had a couple of clients kind of that had like been older clients that had just kind of stayed with me for a while. But even the last few months, I hadn't had any clients. I hadn't put anything out in my business. I hadn't been doing anything. I was like, my job is healing. I was like, I can't even, in this state, I can't put anything out. Like, I can barely get up in the morning. I'm sobbing. Work with me. You know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't do it. So I was like, I really need to relaunch my business. I really need to get financially stable. I need to, there was so much that I need to do, and I felt so overwhelmed by it. And she was just like, it can be easy. It can be simple. It can be fun. It can happen fast. Like, just that belief and that message. I was like, yeah, that's what I used to tell my clients. Like, what the heck? Like, but there's just, when we're just going through our day-to-day life, we're not bumping into people with that belief system very often. It's not our society's belief system.
Yeah.
So we're bombarded with all these other messages. I was looking up to all these doctors and specialists, and they're all telling me it's going to take a really long time.
Sure.
It's going to be really hard. This kind of stuff is painful, and it's hard, and it's confusing. And so you're normal. Everything you're feeling is normal. It's fine, which was, validating. Like, I'm not a crazy person, but it wasn't like encouraging and empowering at all.
You don't want to hear that you're going to spend 2 years on the sofa.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I can't afford to do that, like, in so many ways.
Right.
So yeah, I think just her belief in it. She is a big follower of Joe Dispenza. You know what I mean? Like, it's her just belief in like the quantum field and the fact that anything is possible, like whether it's self-healing or whether it's, making more money in your business, or whether it's, finding the love of your life, whatever that is, she believes it's possible. So I just needed somebody in my sphere of consciousness that was sending me that message. You know what I mean?
How often did you work with her? Did she have a program that you needed to take, or was she?
I signed up for a program of hers, and I can actually give you a link to it because it's an incredible program. It's called Superflow. So I know you guys do the links afterwards, so I can give you the link. It was such a great program. It was just very simple, very affordable, and then the wheels got turning. And I've been working with her all year and signed up for like some different programs with her. I did one-on-one coaching with her for a couple of months when I relaunched my business, and that was really great. But it was really like, and she says this too, like reminding me who I am. She's like, I help my clients remember who they are. Mm-hmm. And I was like, That is what I needed. You know what I mean? And so it was like a lot of journaling and just getting back to who you truly are. And then, she does have some visualizations and little meditations and things like that. And like lots of video training. So I could just, go in and just absorb her content,
Right.
instead of tuning out and watching like a TV show or whatever I had been doing while lying on the couch with my broken foot. I could really focus and just be consuming content that was feeding my soul, literally.
Yeah.
And just me deciding that I'm worth it and just investing in that. And you know what I mean? And believing in myself. Because it was really like that investment was me saying, yes, I believe that I can do this. I believe this is possible. And I'm putting faith in myself. Because I know that you can hire a coach and not do any of the work and not get anything out of it. That is 100% possible.
Yeah.
Just because you hire a coach doesn't mean your life is going to be,
we all know that.
Yeah. But it was really and I knew that. And so I knew taking this leap of faith was what my psyche needed for me to shift out of literally victim mode. That's what I was back into being self-empowered and trusting, self-faith and self-trust.
Did you ever have thought, based on where you were before, that you would become victim to those head voices in your head?
No. I was I was just the trajectory is going up. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'd had some things in my life that weren't congruent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That I'd been kind of ignoring. And I'd had some moments of seasonal depression because I lived in Hawaii for 8 years. And then I'm in Seattle now, which is a very beautiful place. But there are several months in the winter that are very hard. And a lot of times I'll go to Hawaii or I'll go on a trip in the winter, and get away from it all. But it's still I would find myself feeling some seasonal depression in the winter.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, vitamin D or whatever. But the funny thing is when I went to the homeopath, she's like, your vitamin D levels are incredibly high. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It's all the things, it's yes, maybe it's seasonal depression, but ultimately, I think that there's signs that your body sends you that if you're not listening to, those signs get stronger and stronger. And so I had some little hits here and there where I was I'm very active, very positive, loved my coaching business. But even I'm saying, I think from me pre-accident to me now, there's a massive difference.
Yeah.
There's a massive shift that happened. And it was like with the Joe Dispenza story, it's almost I needed to get knocked off my feet.
Yeah.
And really wake up and be wow, I have not been, doing walking the talk as much as I would like to be. You know what I mean? I hadn't been. I think meditation is so powerful, and I had used it in the past to heal anxiety. I'd had a whole thing with anxiety and insomnia before I became a health coach, and it was kind of what spurred me to launch my business.
Uh-huh.
And so it's I knew all this stuff, but that I wasn't practicing it regularly. You know what I mean? And I think that was kind of what needed to happen. I needed to have this experience to be okay, you actually know all the answers. You don't even really have to relearn anything necessarily, but
right.
You have to remember what you already know and what worked and you have to actually do it. You can't just believe it and think it sounds good.
Right. You have to, there is more to it. And one of the things that I find and have found from personal experience, and Joe Dispenza goes in his book, it's one of the major premises of his whole method, is the fact that you have to have clarity. You have to have a clear intention. You cannot have these mixed messages because it's not going to necessarily be fulfilling. The payoff is when you have the clear intention and you marry it with the elevated emotion. And that's when the real results start to come. So it sounds like, things weren't bad, but maybe you didn't have a clear idea of where you needed to be, and getting literally knocked off your feet helped you get to that clarity.
Yeah, because it was, it was back to like the people pleasing, like, people in my life. I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to do some of this and help them and do this. And I wasn't really listening to how am I going to be of the greatest service to everyone.
Right.
I was just trying to people please in these little pockets. And that was such an awareness when I had the accident, because I had to reach out and ask for help from people because I literally couldn't walk. I live in a beautiful historic building. I'm on the top floor. It's 5 stories with no elevator. And I was on crutches. So you can only imagine what a nightmare it was. And I really had to reach out and ask people for help. And it made me realize how much I'm always helping people and doing for others and constantly giving and giving and giving, which is great. But like, I was actually depleted.
Sure.
And, of course. You know what I mean? And I was just in total denial about it until I broke my foot. And I was like, wow, I can totally see it clearly now.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane how much I've just been giving away my time and energy to other people. And like kind of almost being like a crutch for them to not be empowered themselves. Like if you're doing everything for the people around you, like how are they going to learn how to help themselves? So it was very, very interesting. Like, my life was good, but like to really have that experience with the physical and the mental, the emotional wake up call, really like, wow, and then feeling so empowered going from because I think so many of us get caught in victim mode. Like things happen to us and we're like, it was out of my control. Like, I'm like, it was out of my control that I broke my foot. Like, how could I have fixed that? Like, did I hit my head? Like how, that's not my fault. But ultimately, like taking ownership for your life. And when you do that, it's so empowering. And for me to be able to say, like, I'm grateful that this happened, because if it hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am today, is so empowering. And it just makes it like the victim can't even live in that environment. Right.
Totally. It's the gratitude. And there's a lesson in everything. I mean, I can tell you that I've had the world's greatest jobs. I've had amazing jobs. There were 2 that I wouldn't necessarily say were so great, but I took such valuable lessons out of that. You have to be grateful for every second of that. So, my depression, was it pretty? No. But am I grateful that I went through it and gained all kinds of insight from it? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Much better for it after going through it. So here you are. All of a sudden, you find a coach, you make a change, you're feeling better. How did that change your business?
Oh my gosh, so much. So I really started to, I'd always been like, healer, health coach, like, you can have like more energy, more vitality in your life. You can feel and look incredible. It can be easy. You can start right now. Like I always believed all those principles, but the practice has deepened so much for me personally that I have so much more to share. And I really started being like, we as women, the biggest thing that was going on for me during my depression, and then I started to see it in other areas of my life, and I started to see it in other people, is self-judgment. And I think we are constantly, as women, we're constantly trying to fix what's wrong with our body or our face or our hair. Like it's always like this unattainable goal of like how we need to look and feel. And we are just like, we're never there. We're always short of the prize. We're always just full of self-judgment. And what was so powerful for me is when I started to just completely stop judging myself. Because when I was depressed, I was literally like every day, like, what's wrong with me? Like, how am I gonna fix this? I'm so broken. Like it was just like constant inner dialogue. It was horrible. And it was like I had this complete shift to like, I am this incredibly like magical being. And like, I've always believed our bodies are incredible. Like what your body is capable of doing is so incredible. Like what it's able, like how horribly we can treat our body and how like resilient it can be and like come back and like, you know, heal itself and like whatever, even if you're not like practicing self-healing, just like crazy stories that we hear all the time about how miraculous the body is.
Yes.
And we're like not even giving the body a good environment to thrive. So like, what if we were able to give our body like this incredible environment, physically, emotionally, nutritionally, spiritually, to be able to thrive, for ourselves to be able to like rejuvenate and heal like even faster? Like, what would that look like? And so I really started teaching the concept that I call body magic, because it's really this idea that our body is like this incredibly magical place if we treat it that way. And that really starts a lot with, you know, releasing that self-judgment, starting to trust yourself, which all are practices that if you just show up, it doesn't even have to take a long time every day. So that was the other thing. Like I was like such an all or nothing person that it's like, unless I do the 90 minutes of yoga and the 45 minutes of meditation, I'm not getting the full benefits. So I'm not doing it at all.
Right.
And so something that really shifted is like, sometimes I'll just have little pockets of my day of like 2 minutes or 5 minutes that I just focus and I do my meditation, or I focus on my mindset. I focus on my inner dialogue. I focus on my emotional state. I'll just journal sometimes just for like a page. You know what I mean? And just like really having these very intentional practices, because just like going to the gym and like working out, self-love and self-trust is like a muscle that you have to build. It doesn't just like happen overnight. Like, yes, you can feel a shift fast, but you have to keep showing up every day. It's not like, well, I did it one time and it's done. It's like, you have to keep going to the gym. You can't be like, I went to the gym and now I have the perfect body and I'm in perfect shape every day. It's like, you keep going every week, you know? So it's like that. And it's a practice, and really owning that practice for myself, and being able to teach it in a way that is easy and fun, because I think like so often it can just be like, oh God, another thing I have to add onto my time schedule and like another thing. And I in my coaching previously would be like, you've got to do like the 21-day cleanse. You've got to commit to this whole big thing or you're not going to get the results with which yes, if you do the 21-day cleanse, you're going to feel freaking amazing. It's going to be awesome.
Right.
It's so powerful. But not everybody is ready to do that. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody even has the lifestyle that really supports that. Yeah. Like they have too much going on. They shouldn't add in this whole crazy cleanse. It's like too much.
Right.
You know? So really being able to find more easy, simple little things that you can do that are going to create massive shifts in your life and give you massive results is really kind of what the whole body magic idea is about. And it's all about just changing the way you think about yourself and your body. Like that perspective change is like where the magic happens.
That's great. So would you say that most of the clients who come to you, Kate, come to you for physical change, whether they want to, you know, lose weight, tone down? Is it more physical, or now do you find there's that spiritual element also, that you attract more women who are looking for that spiritual change and transformation in addition to something physical?
Yeah, I think it's definitely both. And I think I've always kind of attracted people that want a little bit more of like a spiritual approach for sure, but even more so. And I mean, a lot of the women that I've worked with have healed from like eating disorders and have lost weight and like all of these kind of things. They've had physical transformations of some kind, but I'm an inner beauty expert. So it's always like they're attracted to the inner work. You know what I mean? They're attracted to like doing the inner work. And a lot of them have like a passion for like not only healing themselves, but healing the planet. One of my clients just bought a wellness center, and like another one has like a cooking business where she like makes all these like vegan, healthy, you know, things and like sells them to people in her community. It's like super cute. So they have a desire to like share this message of healing as well. But just like me, they kind of like lost sight. They're like lost sight of trusting themselves. They've fallen off at some point. Something's happened, and the stress and the overwhelm is like depleting them. And they're like, I can't remember how to get back to that place where I feel like good in my body, and I can actually like be of service to other people as well,
So do you find one of the more effective ways of working with a client is one-on-one, or how do you feel about the group coaching? I
love group coaching. I do have one-on-one clients, and it's amazing. And I think it's just different for everyone. It depends what they like, where they're at or what they're looking for. So, I mean, if somebody, a lot of people feel like if they're busy, they don't have time to do like some really intense one-on-one program. You always have enough time. There's always more than enough time. But I think that can feel like a huge commitment. And sometimes they're just not ready for that big of a commitment. They just want something that feels like light and easy. And so I do a lot of group programs, and I have a couple self-study programs. So you can just go in and you get a membership site, and you can go through and look at watch the trainings and listen to the meditations and the audios and like kind of do it at your own pace, which I think a lot of people like.
Yeah.
And every program I have has a Facebook group. So you can always go in there, even the self-study ones. You can always go in there and like ask your questions and like get some personal, interaction with me. So it's not like you're just completely on your own. Yeah. But I don't know. I think I like your program. So I like the community, and I think
so too. I think
people coming together.
I think community is a huge part of why people choose group programs and group coaching. I think that even though I'm sure you're always giving as much content away as possible, but most people will come because they want that bonding, and they want to know other people are sharing that experience that they're having.
Yes, exactly. And I love that too. That's why I love group programs. I want to meet my tribe, meet other women that have the same beliefs and passions that I do.
Yeah, because it fuels you, and it gives you ideas, and it motivates you to take the next step in your business as you want to. So I want to talk a little bit about your travels. As I know you love traveling, and you had, right in the first sentence of the bio, it says the world traveling inner beauty expert. So tell us how you take your business on the road.
Well, I do all of my coaching either over the phone or through Facebook. I love Facebook.
Great.
I have tons of private groups, and like all my group coaching is usually done within a Facebook community. So I can do live, streaming just like this. And so, I set my own schedule. I create my own schedule, and I work with all my clients virtually. I have in-person events and retreats sometimes, but that can be a lot of times people, like for example, I'm having a little retreat here in Seattle next month. And so far, all the people that have signed up don't even live in Seattle. They live out of state, so they're flying here. So it doesn't really matter where you are. People will come to you. I'll do like one-day intensives or mini retreats with people a lot of times. So sometimes, we'll meet at a location, or I'll come to their area, or they'll come to my area. So it can look a lot of different ways. So that actually enables me to travel more. But I would say most of what I do is, over the phone or over the internet. So it makes it really easy to just, as long as you can, the hardest part for me is just figuring out the time difference and the conversion.
That's the critical thing. Make sure you have Wi-Fi and you're ready to go. So I read in one of your Facebook posts that you had this magical experience in France. Talk about that.
Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. So Eugenie, the Technicolor priestess, is another incredible coach that I work with. She's so inspiring because she also loves the quantum field and creating those quantum shifts fast, easy, like instant transformations. So she's all about everything is energy. She's very into what you wear and how you show up it needs to be a vibrational match to where you're going. So, really cleaning out your closet and getting rid of all the clothes that make you feel frumpy and make you feel less than and make you feel cheap or whatever the story is. And so it was really fun. We went on, it was like, I went to this retreat of hers. It was totally a surprise. I had no idea what I was signing up for. People are like, what are you doing? I'm like, all I know is we're staying at a chateau. There's going to be a photo shoot and it's going to be iconic and full of glitter. That's like all that. And they're like, what? And I was like, they totally spoke to me. It was kind of a celebration for me because I had been through this, 2017, 2018 feeling really depressed and horrible. And this year has been like this, like relaunching of my business, having so much success. And so I really wanted to celebrate myself and really up level into, my next evolution, like whatever that is. And so it was amazing. We got to stay in a 1,000-year-old chateau. It was an all-inclusive experience. We had amazing French food. And like they had like champagne or wine or whatever you wanted, chocolate, like all the decadent things. And, I don't really like eat sugar or drink hardly ever, but I was even like, I'll have a little. This is amazing. And we had an incredible photo shoot. We went shopping for our photo shoot. They helped style us. We had makeup and hair and like we just create whatever vision we wanted. So I was like, of course, super extreme. Like I want to be like a queen with like a long train.
I know. I saw that post. I love it. Please put a photo of it. Well, in the link.
Okay, I will. Yeah, and I haven't got my photos from the photo shoot back. I'm supposed to get them this week.
Okay.
So when I do, I will definitely. I'm so excited because I created this whole board of like what I want the pictures to look like, and the photographer was like super into it. She like barely spoke English, mostly French, but she was like, "Let me see your board again," and like, okay, I have the perfect location. Like she was running around looking for like where we were going to do the photos. It was amazing. I was totally spoiled, pampered, like treated like a queen the whole time. It was just incredible experience in this tiny little medieval village of Lautrec, France. And I love France. I love French food. I go to France all the time. So it was incredible.
That's fantastic. That's great. So where are you traveling next?
I don't have any tickets booked, but I'm thinking of Thailand. I'm going to Bali in the spring. I already have my hotel booked, just not about my plane ticket yet. So I know I'm going to be there. So I'm going to Bali, and I'm thinking Thailand. Maybe I just want to go somewhere like tropical for the winter. Maybe Hawaii again.
Are you taking a group? Are you going by yourself, or?
I'm going by myself. I don't know. Maybe I'll have like a retreat or an intensive there. I'm not sure. I haven't planned it out that far in advance. I know I'm having a retreat here in Seattle next month. That's all I have planned.
All right, we'll put that link down. I talked to a woman the other day. She's going to be a guest on a future show. She does retreats. She lives in Australia, and she was in Fiji. And it's just like
awesome.
She's doing a retreat in Fiji. And then another friend of mine who I connected with after she saw some recent posts I did from our trip to France. I spoke to her the other night. She's also going to be on a future show. She's thinking seriously about going to Sri Lanka. So if people went back 20 years ago and we told them, you're going to be talking to people and it's going to be commonplace that somebody's going to be in Fiji and somebody's going to be in Sri Lanka and somebody's going to Bali and they're not going to think anything of it, you would have said, what? What about their work?
Yeah, exactly.
But now we're able to have these amazing virtual jobs that allow us to do that. So I want to speak, this has been amazing, but I want to speak a little bit to the women who are in the corporate world, who don't have the mobility to get on a plane and go to Bali. And they may feel their life needs a little bit of a reboot. How did they find that balance of being in joy and still working in a traditional environment?
I mean, my biggest like belief is really that everything's working out for you. Whatever situation you're in right now, you can create your paradise. You can create, because it's all, everything is happening on the inside. So you can turn any situation around. And I mean, if I have clients that are in the corporate world, you know what I mean? And sometimes the message is that they need to take some time off work because they've been working so hard. Sometimes the message is that they need to find a new career. Sometimes it's just that they need to change their relationship with that schedule that they have. And instead of allowing it to feel so stressful and allowing it to feel like they don't have enough time, to start to shift their mindset. Because when you shift your mindset, that's when like the magic and the miracles really start to unfold. And they'll be like, like I felt like I didn't have time to do this and this and this. And then I started, waking up in the morning, changing my morning ritual. I think it's so like when you first wake up in the morning, like what thoughts you allow in and what emotions you allow in are so, so important. So I always work with my clients on that. And I had a client recently who she did like one of the intensives. So it was like a little mini retreat. And she was like, my mornings are completely different now. I used to wake up like so stressed out, so like kind of angry that I had to get up so early and whatever, and feeling so, so rushed. And she's like, now, like I always have time to do like everything I want in the morning before I leave. I never feel rushed. I feel so relaxed on my way to work. And she goes, and it makes my entire day better.
Yeah.
Just shifting out of this like worry and stress state where like, if you understand how you can shift your body out of a stress state, that will affect your thoughts, because our what's happening hormonally in our body directly affects our thoughts. And so like, yes, you can do the mindset work, and you can from mind to body or body to mind, either way works. But sometimes it's easier to do it from the body, because if you know the simple, easy tricks that you can do anywhere, you can do them at the office, you can do them on the bus, you can do them while you're driving, while you're walking, while you're at lunch, anything. If you understand these techniques and these practices that actually lower the stress hormones in your body, your thoughts are going to be different, just naturally. They're just going to start being different. And so that's why your body is pure freaking magic, because you are literally able to change your state within like a minute. Like it can happen in less than a minute. It can happen so, so, so fast. If you're just committed to like returning to here, instead of like getting carried away with like, ooh, like you can turn your whole experience, your whole day, regardless of what's happening on the outside, into like pure bliss and pure enjoyment, and like start having so much fulfillment in what you're doing right now. Like you don't have to change your external like environment that much to start creating this like a feeling of total fulfillment and peace in your life. It can happen very quickly.
I think that people just fail to realize that, because what happens, and you talked about it earlier, Kate, you start to let that head trash overcome you. And once you listen to those voices, you're going down the path that is not going to serve you well. So what you want to do is spin that around. So I think once I did a video actually for Angels. One of the things that Angel did was how to get yourself out of a bad mood. And, if you don't start it while you're laying down thinking in bed, even if you get up, singing, dancing, getting in touch with a friend who is a great friend who you haven't talked about in a while, those kinds of things can spin that bad mood into a great mood almost instantly. I mean, when you're dancing, who doesn't feel good?
Yeah.
You put on a great record, or you put your iPhone on or your Android phone on, and you just listen and get into the music and have a good time. So, I also said watching a ridiculous movie, can make a comedy, just can kind of lift that. So there are ways that you can trigger that shift where you don't have to be down on that spiral of negativity, and it makes such a difference in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to go to the lightning round. So I'm going to ask you, I love the lightning round, and we're going to have the links to everything Kate says, in addition to her link and her photos eventually, which are going to be great. A person that inspired you or inspires you currently, and why?
Definitely my coach, Jessica Caver Lindholm. That's who I originally signed up for the Super Flow program and who I've been working with all year. She walks the talk. She's awesome. She's very spiritual. She's very in touch with her inner beauty. And she continues to inspire me. She is like she's on the upward, she's on the rise.
Great. Where is her
rising together?
Where does she live?
She lives in Colorado.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's fun. Okay, so we'll have a link to her.
Yeah.
The best business advice you ever received
was to listen to my intuition and listen to what really inspires me and motivates me. What do I feel really passionate about sharing, putting that message out, and actually not listening to any of the other people that say, follow this strategy, you have to do the 6-step system, you have to do it this way, or you're never going to reach success. Literally just listening to my own joy and my own passion has always been the best. For me, I always have the most success when I do that. And I think that's the best absolute advice anyone could have, especially for if you're an entrepreneur, your own online business.
Yeah, it's hard for people to understand how important that is, but I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally. What's the best personal or overall advice you ever received?
Probably to trust myself.
And you practice that, obviously.
Working it like a muscle.
That's right. That's right. What's an app you can't live without?
I know, I saw that one. I was like, honestly, I mean, this is kind of lame, but probably the Facebook app. I like the Facebook pages that I use for my business page, for my Kate in Paradise business page on Facebook. I love that app. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. I'm not a fan of Mark Zuckerberg, but I'm certainly glad he exists.
Yeah.
A person or account our viewers should follow on social media, and why?
Kelly Brogan. She is incredible. She has 2 books out. A Mind of Your Own is the one that I've read. She has a new book she's just released. I haven't read that one yet. She is incredible. She is clinically trained psychiatrist who has a completely natural and holistic approach. And her work is insane. Just get on her newsletter. The content she puts out is incredible. The people that she's always recommending other people to other doctors, and she's very into research, evidence-based stuff. She is just such a light on this planet, and I want every single woman on the planet. And she's very focused on women's mental health. It's her focus.
We'll have that. We have to have that link. That's great. And I'm assuming that you can find her book on Amazon, of course.
Yes, totally.
Okay, a charity that people may not be aware of that is doing great things.
I actually don't have a charity.
That's okay.
I don't have a charity that I believe in or stand behind. I give money to Marianne Williamson.
Okay, other people have been on the show that have said the same thing. That's fine.
Yeah, I love Marianne Williamson. I want her to do whatever she's meant to do. I want her to do it. So I give my money to her. That's who I support.
Well, she's done great things. I mean, I have to say that what she talks about in terms of the roots of the problems of this country being in, rooted in sickness, not in wellness, and in how some of the different people in terms of culturally have been treated, and getting to the systemic part of what's so wrong with rather than, as you said before, putting Band-Aids on things. So I think the awareness that she's generated has been good. So
yeah, she's incredible. I support her.
obviously her books have.
Yeah, I love all of her books. I'm just like an avid Marianne watcher and supporter for years, and I love what she's doing politically. I think she's incredible.
Yeah, she's a very interesting woman, and her message, I think is a really good one. So what is a book, a lecture, event, or situation that's really made a difference in your life?
Definitely for me, my yoga teacher training, I got certified in Hawaii at an incredible studio called Open Space. I had 4 different teachers. They were all incredible yogis. And after that, I did some private one-on-one like yoga teacher training kind of stuff with another teacher. Like all of them were just such inspiring, incredible women that really just awakened this idea of like the true self and your spiritual body, and just awaken this desire inside of me to like
Hawaii. You're talking about Hawaii. It's just, I love Hawaii.
I know Hawaii's magic, and it's very healing, and it's a very powerful place. There's a lot of energy there.
Because one of the most
my teacher training there was such a pivotal part of my personal story in my life.
That's great. It has one of the most powerful vortexes on the planet.
Yeah, I lived on Kauai, there's a temple up right by Mount Waialeale, which is the wettest place in the world, where the heavens just literally open. And, hundreds of inches of rain get dumped down these waterfalls a year. And it's incredibly powerful. You can feel it, and there's a lot of dark and light energy there. It's a very strong, powerful place. When people move there, they're like, oh, I'm going to move to Hawaii and it's going to be like all easy. It's like, no, they get like knocked down and they have to learn who they really are. And like the strong people don't make it. Most people move quite quickly. They don't stay. I lasted for 8 years. I was like, I am working through all this adversity. I'm working through it and I'm staying. And so I go back all the time. I love Hawaii.
That's great. Do you have a favorite quote?
I don't know if I have a favorite quote. I like the one, I don't know if I'm going to butcher it, but it's like the day that the bud like couldn't stay closed anymore, like the pain of the bud being closed was worse than the pain of opening. I don't remember like how it goes. It's a really good quote. I should have written that down so I could say it right.
I'm sure we'll find it and we'll post it down the
I'll post it. Yeah, it's a really good one.
So one thing that I said I was going to ask you, like a favorite, since you travel the world, a great place that you love that maybe people don't really know about.
People don't know about it. I mean, the most incredible place that I've been to is on Kauai. It's the Kala'au Valley. You have to hike 12 miles in to get to it. I don't even know if you can hike into it now because there's been so many roads that were washed away by crazy rains that happened. Like, I don't even know how you get there now, but I have gone there by boat. You're not technically supposed to get off the boat and swim to the beach, but I have. But this is the most incredible, beautiful place. It's really hard to get to. It's really remote. It's really beautiful. It's this insane big beach with all these caves. You can sleep, like I've camped there, slept in a cave. There's a waterfall where you shower. There's you go to the valley and there's like fruit and you just like eat it. It's just really, really magical. It's definitely my favorite place. It's not very easy to get to.
No, it sounds very difficult, but it's
very rugged, but very, very magical and amazing.
Sounds great. Kate, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All the things Kate talked about are going to be in LDTV Scoop. We're going to rebroadcast this tonight on LDTV at 8 p.m. So I'm going to sign you off, and then I'm just going to take care of a couple little things before we sign off. But this is great, and I'm going to have you back to do some short positivity coaching.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, great. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And good luck with your retreat. And everybody, you'll have the link to Kate's retreat on the, and maybe you'll go to Bali with her. Who knows?
Yeah, I know. I was thinking I should have a little event in Bali. We'll see. I need to figure out what dates I'll be there, and then I'll commit to that.
People can come to our retreat in Marrakesh and then go to your retreat.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Thanks, Kate.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Bye. So Kate, yeah, she's great. She's wonderful. I told you we were going to have a really positive session, so that was great. So we are giving away our smudge sticks. Text "Tell Me" #talk to 866-320-6011 to enter to win. All the links that Kate talked about are going to be on LDTV Scoop, which is our Facebook fan page. They'll be up later. We are doing the replay again tonight at 8 o'clock. And before I leave, what am I fanning? Okay, this is something called Smile Actives. Every week, people who come to LDtvTalk know that before I sign off, I talk about something that I'm particularly impressed with. And this is something that I saw on an infomercial, okay? I did. And I'll give you a little known fact about Lynn. When I was about 21, I applied to be a flight attendant for American Airlines. No one knows that because I don't really like to fly. But 30% of flight attendants don't like to fly either. So anyway, I did, and they wrote back on I got rejected, of course. They only take, like, I don't know, in those days, they only took a few people. And it was a little bit more glamorous back in the day than it is now. I would never choose to do it now. But they said my teeth looked a little dull. So I've always been very conscious of my teeth because I am a mega tea drinker, and tea stains. And I also am a very big dark chocolate eater, and that is very staining as well. So I signed up to be on the test for this thing called Smile Actives. And they sent this little trial size, which lasted about a month. And it works. I have to tell you, it does work. So Smile Actives, Google it and see for yourself. I think they'll give you your money back if it doesn't work for you. So anyway, that's what's happening next week. My guest is going to be web developer and creator of Business in a Box, Patty Rose Slater, who actually developed my website, Side Hustle Warriors. She's going to be talking, we're going to be talking about creating your own business in a box, which is basically having a website that you create, that she puts together. She's got this software created, and it's like that. You'll have 3 pages. It'll be very reasonably priced. She's going to talk about all kinds of things about what you need for building your own business online and taking the headaches out of things if you don't feel you can do Squarespace or Wix or WordPress on your own. So anyway, that's what's happening. Thanks for tuning in. And we will see you later. And please, in the comments, let us know what you think, what you love hearing about. And in LDTV Scoop, we're going to have a list also of some of the things that are coming up. So thanks so much. And we'll see you next week or later tonight. Bye.